What is up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on the video today. So I've been getting a lot of questions about how to data log a wideband O2 sensor in RomRaider logger. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. So part of this is going to be physical components that need to be modified, and then some of this is also some software modification to the RomRaider logger definitions files. So I'm going to show you both of those things today, but let's just get started on the mechanical part of it. So the first thing you're going to need to make this work is you're going to need TGV Deletes. And there's a couple options for TGV Deletes. There's buy a TGV Delete from like IAG or another company that's like billet aluminum TGV housing without the butterfly valves on them. Or the other option is the do-it-yourself route, which is the route that I prefer. And I actually sell a TGV Delete kit on my website. It's a kit that comes with everything you need to do it yourself. So let me show you that real quick. So these are my TGV Delete kits. This one is for 2002, 2006, and 2007. And this is for cars 2007/2008 up to newer for these EJ series platforms here. And these kits come with covers and hardware, as well as these set screws here. And these are the essential part to the delete. You can do the delete with just these set screws. The rest of the components here are just to give it a nice final fit and finish. But this is a 3/8 by 16 set screw. So when you remove the shaft and butterfly valves out of your TGVs, you can tap the hole with 3/8 by 16 inch tap, put some JB weld on this set screw, thread it in there, let it cure, and then when you're porting the TGV, you grind off the excess of the screw and you have a nice flowing port with the holes plugged. And then just as a finishing touch, you put these covers on there and it makes it look nice. So if you want to learn more on how to do that, I'll put a card up here. You can go check out a video I made on how to do TGV deletes. These covers are made out of PA6 nylon CF filament and they hold up to the engine bay heat no problem. I've had mine on my car for almost 2 years probably, but you might be able to see them. Oh my goodness. If you can see it down there, it's holding up just fine. So if you're looking to do a TGV delete on your EJ series car, I would really appreciate it if you gave my product a try, and also check out some of the other products on my website as well. But there will be a shop tab here you can click on, go get some TGV deletes, also check out some of the other products that I have for sale. I really appreciate it. So once you do the TGV delete, what that does is it removes the factory TGV motors, and that frees up the electrical connector that normally plugs into those motors. And the TGVs are a loggable parameter. So if you go into your data logger and you open up all the different parameters that you can log, you'll see in there a right TGV and a left TGV motor log parameter. So now that we removed those motors, you'll also have to clear the check engine light codes for the TGVs. But if you are watching this video on how to data log through the TGVs, I'm sure that's not a problem for you. It's just going into your ECU flash, finding those check engine lights, clicking disable, reflash the car. It's easy. But once you do that, we have a free electrical connector that connects to the ECU as a loggable parameter. So we can wire in any sensor we want to those connectors and then change the formula in the code on the logger definition file, and it'll output the correct values for the sensor we're trying to log. So this is kind of an optional thing, but I like to do it this way. These are a TGV receptacle from iWire. This just makes it so that you don't have to cut the factory harness to wire these in. You can hardwire into the factory wires by cutting off the connector, but I like to do it this way because it makes it so that I can put the factory TGVs back on if I need to without messing up the factory harness. So different models and years of vehicles are going to have different wire colors and maybe different wire positions. So to know which wires go where, you need to open up your factory service manual and look and see what wires are what. But I'm going to show you with my car as an example. It has a 3-pin, but there's also 5-pin motor plugs. So you have to figure out which pins on those do what, and I can link a forum post below that talks about the 5-pin and stuff like that, but I'll show you the 3-pin real quick. So I'm going to show you on this side because this is easier to see, but the wires are a bit dirty. But looking at the top down with the clip up here, the wire on the right is a yellow wire with a red stripe. The wire in the middle is a black wire with a yellow stripe, and the wire on the left is a black wire with a blue stripe. So what those are from right to left, the yellow red wire is going to be your signal negative. The wire in the middle, the black and yellow wire, is your signal positive, and then the wire all the way at the left, the black and blue wire, is going to be your signal power. With an AEM gauge, you get a green, a brown, and a white wire. The green is your signal power, the brown is your signal positive, and the white is your signal negative. So if you look over here, we have this is for our wideband O2 sensor. We have a white wire on the right that goes to the yellow and red wire, and we have a brown wire that goes to the middle to our black wire with a yellow stripe. 2 wires on that side. On this side, you'll see we have 3 wires wired in, and that is because with the AEM sensor, since I have an actual gauge for it, I chose to tie the green wire into the red 12-volt ignition, so it's getting power from the car in the same spot the gauge is getting power from the car, but it'll work just as well if you plug that into the 3rd port on that plug, which is what I did on this one, because this fuel pressure sensor doesn't have a gauge. It's just the sensor that goes right into the TGV and I can log it. But this one, we have our sensor negative. In the middle we have sensor positive, and on the left we have our sensor power. So that means that this black and blue wire right here, that is sending power into the motor for it to operate. So it's sending power to our sensor. And then these 2 wires are just measuring that signal positive, signal negative. Pretty much any sensor on your car uses a 0 to 5 volt signal system. So depending on if it's at 3.3 volts, that plugs into an equation. Whatever that signal wire is reading, that plugs into an equation, and it calculates the value for that respective sensor to tell the computer what it needs to do accordingly. That's how the MAF sensor works, everything. So these TGV motors, it just measures the voltage, and that voltage corresponds to whether the motor is open or closed. So we can't just take that voltage readout and expect it to be correct for the sensor that we're reading. So we need to go into our logger definitions file, and we need to change that formula to match the sensor we're trying to data log. So I'm going to show you how to do that in a moment. But before I show you that, I wanted to show you another tuning product that I have, since this is a tuning related video. This product makes your life a lot easier if you're going to be tuning a Subaru on your own. If you've ever done this before, you will know that you have to plug in those green test connectors underneath the dashboard every time you want to flash the car. So I made this product here, which is a test connector button. So you can plug in these factory green test connectors into this assembly here, and it wires it into a button. So this has 2 holes right here. You can screw those into the bottom of your dashboard and mount this button underneath your dash. So instead of having to reach down there and try to plug in the wires with one hand and unplug them with one hand and potentially ripping out the wires, I have ripped out the wires a couple times before and had to rewire them. This saves you from having to do that, and it just makes it as easy as reaching down, pressing a button, reflashing the car. When you're done, press the button again, it's out of test mode, go drive your car. So super easy, super helpful, and super affordable. So if you're interested in one of these, there's a shop tab right here. You can click on that, go check out everything on my website, swspeedco.com. I really appreciate it. So now that we got the product plug out of the way, let me show you the software portion of this video. So moving on to the software part on how to do this, the first thing we're going to want to look up is the equations for whatever sensor we're trying to log. So for example, my car, I'm logging the wideband O2 sensor and the fuel pressure sensor. So I can look up the gauges or even the sensor models. Both of mine are AEM X series wideband. We'll look that up. Go on the AEM website, find the gauge and sensor that we have, which is this one, and then we'll scroll down to here. We'll find the instruction tech library. So this is basically the user manual for your gauges or sensors, and there should be an area in here that has an equation. So right here in this section where it says 0.5 volt analog output, tells you which wires are positive and which wires are negative, and then it gives you the scaling formulas right here. We want to use lambda. If you want to use AFR, this is your equation. If you want to use lambda, this is our equation. We have to make some tweaks to this equation, but this is the information that we need currently. And then the other one that I have is the fuel pressure sensor. This one, 100 psi fluid pressure gauge kit. Same thing, come down here, click on the instructions, scroll down to the analog input section right there, and there's our equations for psi and bar. So we're going to use psi. So now that we have these equations, we can go on to actually changing the definition files. So at the time of me making this video, the RomRaider forums is down for whatever reason. Hopefully it's not permanent, but I can't reference the forum post that I used to figure out this information in the past. So I'm basically reverse engineering from what I recall memory wise, and also looking at my old laptop and seeing what I did. So this is actually pretty simple. So let me show you how to do it. It's pretty straightforward. If you recall watching my video on downloading RomRaider and installing the definition files and stuff like that, if we go to our RomRaider, so we need to open up the logger, launch the logger, because this is for data logging. And then we need to look at settings, logger definition location, and I can see that we're using the logger standard English v370. So that's the file we're going to want to edit. So we don't need to change it there. I just wanted to make sure we're editing the right one. Let's open up our files. I have that file saved under program files, RomRaider, and these are where my definitions files are. So logger standard English v370 is the one. So we're gonna open this with Notepad, just because every time I try to open it in Microsoft Edge, it like freezes. So we're just gonna open it in Notepad. Now that this is open, you can scroll down and you'll see these parameters. You see it says parameter P1, parameter P2. So we're gonna scroll down. I don't know what that's doing there. I'm going to scroll down to parameter 39 and 40, which are the TGV deletes, and it'll say that. So P39, tumble valve position sensor right, and tumble valve position sensor left is P40. Depending on what bank your sensor is wired into is which one you're going to do. If you're sitting in the driver's seat, the right is the right side of the car and the left is the left side of the car. So my wideband is wired into the right sensor and my fuel pressure sensor is wired into the left sensor. So I'm going to change the values in there accordingly. What we're going to change with this is we're going to first change the name. So we're going to call this AEM wideband O2 sensor. So this is what's going to show up on our RomRaider logger to select to log that value. And then for this one, we're going to change it to fuel pressure. I don't think I spelled that right. Fuel pressure. How do you spell pressure? Nope, I had it right the first time. Pressure sensor will be the name of this one. So the only other thing we're going to change is the units and the expression here. The format, ECU bit target, ECU byte index, description number, ID number, all that stuff stays the same. We're just going to change the units and the formula. So the units we're going to be doing for our wideband is going to be lambda. So that we'll change that to that. And for the fuel pressure sensor, it's going to be PSI. So this is the factory expression for calculating the volts, because that was the factory unit. And for our sensor, we need the volts. We want to reuse this equation for volts. So we need to take the equation from AEM and plug in that equation into there. So let's copy this over. So this is our new expression. So I'm just going to add this into there. That's our new expression. And this X50 is the old one. volts, if you just have volts here, this won't work. So we need to basically take this X divided by 50 and plug that into where it says volts, because that's how the computer calculated volts for the TGV sensor here. And then we'll remove the original X50, and that's our new equation with the new units, the new name. So this will pop up on the logger as AEM wideband O2 sensor, and it'll be reading the voltage from the sensor, and that voltage will correspond with this equation, giving us what the wideband is reading. So this will allow us to data log the wideband O2 sensor. Now for the fuel pressure sensor, same thing. We go over to our sensor information here. We want to do PSI. So we'll copy this, copy that, and we will paste that here. And then same thing for volts, we're going to plug in this X divided by 50, control copy, control V, and then we'll get rid of this old one. And we already changed the units to PSI. And if you wanted to go a step further and tap into your algebra knowledge, you can basically solve for X to simplify this part of the equation. That would make it 0.5 times X, because you would be multiplying, or actually, sorry, you'd be dividing 25 by 50, which would give you 0.5 times X. So that would also give you the same results as well. But I'm just going to leave it like this. Same thing with this one. You can solve to make this equation simpler, but we're just going to leave it like that. And that's essentially it. So we're going to save this file. Now it's modified, it's saved, so we can exit out of it and we double check that the changes are still there. Let's open with Notepad, scroll down to P39 and P40, and yep, the changes have been saved. That's pretty much it. So now I can show you what it looks like when you open it up in the car. So when I open up the logger, here is all the definition parameters that you can log. So where it used to say TGV right and TGV left, we can see now we have AM wideband O2 sensor in lambda, and you can see it says P39, and then down here fuel pressure sensor, P40, and PSI. So now we can log these sensors just by clicking the checkbox, and then it'll data log just like any other parameter with the proper units and the proper readout. So I hope you enjoyed that video and I hope you found it useful. If you did, please leave a like. If you have any questions for me, leave them down in the comments below. If you know somebody who might like this video, please share it with them. And if you aren't subscribed, please consider subscribing. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.